Hello and welcome to Talking Hearthstone, the podcast where, well, we talk about Hearthstone. I'm Tito Santana. This is episode 12. Hello to all my favorite podcasters and breakdancers from Australia. Sorry for being a day late. Yesterday, decided to bring my kid to Fun Spot, which is this video game museum in New Hampshire. It's got supposedly the largest collection of video games in the world as far as old school games like Frogger and Mario Brothers and Gauntlet and APB and Skate or Die and all those old games and pinball machines. They have bowling, and it's about an hour away from me. So just kind of one of those things where it's spur of the moment, decided to do it. We went, had fun, good times, summer, you only get so many days where it's like a nice summer day. You can do things. And then I went to do some work last night, but all my recordings for games, like I try to record games while I'm playing and while I'm playing on stream. And so far I've been successful, except if I don't flip a bit and change the recording settings, I have it set up now so that way when I record, I'm recording the gameplay audio only and the images. So that way when I actually come back and do the games, and I narrate them and go over them, it's only game sound. It's not me talking for my stream. But unfortunately, because I never flipped the right bit, it was all my audio talking and music, which can be problematic. So I decided, we're just gonna do it tomorrow. So tomorrow is now today. Today is now the day, and we've recorded some. I recorded a few games. Today we're going to be playing the Buttons Rainbow Death Knight, and we took the first game that we played and we reviewed that, so I will add that on and hopefully we'll be better in the future. But it just was that kind of day and we decided let's do it. I got a new mic, so hopefully I sound better. In fact, if you guys have any feedback for me on how the audio is now, I would appreciate it. We are trying to get it to work, everything for behind baseball stuff. I have a Focusrite Scarlett 2i2, which we have an XLR connection. I now have a Shure MV7 Plus mic. It's very nice. It's the one that Swaybe uses and a few other people. So I'm very happy with it. It seems to be doing better all in all in general. But I'm having problems with some crackling on the Scarlett. So I'm not sure quite what is happening. I need to use it for some upcoming project. I do plan on making some kind of a Hearthstone music video that I've been working on. And for a while, I just thought that my timing was so off because I would record to the beat of the music and it wasn't even close. And I'm like, am I really that bad? Turns out there's a delay you have to deal with and buffering and all that. So it was just recording way off and I had to make some adjustments. Now I just have to actually get my singing a little better and whatnot. So, but the delay is gone and my panic of, wow, am I really that bad is gone. We're happy. Looking forward to doing that. As far as Hearthstone goes, because we're here to talk about Hearthstone, I'm still in the top 1,000. In fact, I am like 398 right now. We're playing a lot of Paladin, and this is a problem I'm running into because I did play some Zarimi Priest. I did play some. We're going to play Rainbow Death Knight today. I need to play other decks specifically because of this show, and I want to highlight other decks. And I don't want to give you Paladin play every week, even though that would be fine for me. I don't think that would be very interesting. And so I have to kind of break out of that. But at the same point, I've played over 300 games in top 1,000 Legend. And this is brand new to me. It's exciting. I'm seeing names pop up that I've always wanted to play against. I've played Pizza like 7 times. I've played some cool people. So I want to keep working on this. So I really have to find a way to squeeze in some other decks. And if I'm going to continue to improve at this level, I can't just be a one-trick pony, right? I can't just be a Paladin player. Even, well, maybe I could. Like Ron Mexico used to be a Hunter main exclusively, but when they're bad, he plays other things. If they're good, that's all he plays. Sidisi plays Hunter all the time. So you can kind of get away with it. But I think I want to be a better Hearthstone player, and I want to be able to play anything. I don't really want to play the Rogue right now. So there's this Rogue out there right now that does a lot of shenanigans where you have to play Grifta and you have to play Mixologist and you get the certain spells and then you play Sonya and then you repeat it and then you repeat it and then you bounce it and repeat it and repeat it and repeat it, repeat it. It's one of those things where it's just kind of like, sure, but it doesn't like high skill cap, right? As they say, but the deck just does not feel interesting to me. It just feels like, hey, I'm playing Solitaire, and when they have it, they have it, and there's not much you can do. I just got to try to pressure them and make sure they don't. I'm thinking about switching from Excavate Paladin to just regular hand buff Paladin, so I can play the new card that I forget the name of it, but it makes that spells that or cards or spells that didn't start in your hand cost 2 more. Could be if I start seeing a lot of rogues, I might do that. But for now, we're just staying with the Excavate Paladin. It's not the best Paladin. It isn't. It's not the best deck out there, but it's the deck that I've been playing with that I'm the most comfortable with, and it's working for me because I kind of know it inside and out. So one of the nice things about it, we'll talk about this in the future, and we'll always talk about this, is you can look and see, hey, this deck is a 55% win rate deck, but the amount you play with it will affect the plus or minus on how close to that 55% you are. And if you feel like you know a deck, you can add percentage points to the win rate just by being really comfortable with it and understanding how it plays, if it can survive in the meta that you're currently in. And that's kind of what's happened with me. I'm enjoying it. I recommend it. But last week we did a kind of, we went through the announced nerfs and we decided to kind of go over and what we thought might happen. I don't remember exactly what I said about everything, but I do know which ones I thought would be impactful and which ones would not be impactful. So I figured today we could go over the changes in the patch notes. And now that it's been about a week, maybe we can talk about which cards were impactful for the nerfs and which ones weren't and the buffs, and where the kind of meta stands with that particular play style right now. So Hydration Station was one of the first cards nerfed, and this was it used to be resurrect your 3 highest cost taunt minions, and now it's resurrects 3 of your different highest cost taunt minions. So what this means was you don't just get Zilliax after Zilliax after Zilliax. I still think this is a good card. I still think that this is going to find a home somewhere. But what this nerf has done is successfully killed Zilliax Warrior. You do not see it at all anymore. You see more Odin. You still see Kiliax. Kiliax is still out there from time to time. You'll see it in Highland or Druid. You'll see it in particular, if someone likes it, they'll play it. And that's fine. It's not as toxic or overstated as it was when Hydration Station used to bring 3 of them back. So I think this change did what they wanted it to do. I do, however, hope that before the end of before the next expansion, not expansion, before the next balance, which will be in like 3 weeks, I hope somebody finds a way to make this card interesting, because you do have Botface, you do have Beach Whale, you do have Monstrosity, excuse me. So I think there is room for this card. It's just we got to find the right place for it. Same thing with Inventor Boom. Inventor Boom was resurrect 2 friendly minions that cost 5 or more, mech minions. They immediately attack random enemies. Now it's resurrect 2 different friendly mechs that cost 5 or more. They attack random enemies. Same thing with the Zilliax. These changes made a difference. We're not seeing that warrior anymore. You still see Inventor Boom. There's still some people playing Highlander. It's not great. But I like the changes. I think these did what they could do. The next change they made was Ticking Zilliax module went from 5 mana, cost 1 less for each minion in play, to 4 mana, cost 1 less for each friendly minion. This card still sees play in certain decks that can flood the board on their side. It doesn't punish the opponent for playing minions as well. I think this change has been very good. This card is still good, but it's not dominating. It doesn't make you feel bad for actually trying to play against it. So I think this has been a very good change. You're still seeing it, things like Zarimi Priest. So, but it's it is definitely less good, right? It's less good, but it's still powerful. So kind of, I think it's fine. I think this was a good change. Lamplighter was a 3 mana 3/2, and now is a 4 mana 4/3. I thought this was going to kill Lamplighter Rogue, and it did. I didn't think it was going to kill Shaman and Mage elemental decks. And I'm not sure if it's because we haven't seen them or not, or because there are other things to do. But it's essentially it's killed all the elemental decks, and that's fine. I kind of wish elemental mage was still a thing, but apparently it's just you wanted to bounce it with pandas and stuff. So apparently this is just not quite what you want to do. So it's fine. Probably better that it's not there than it is, but I still think you could play the elemental decks if you want to, but there are stronger things to do, so why would you? Concierge went from 3 mana to 4 mana, and the effect is still the same. Your cards from another class cost 1 less. This is fine. They're fine. You see a lot less Concierge Druid. I think it's more a combination of this in line with the changes to Chia Drake, which was a 3/5 that went to a 2/4. People are still playing plenty of Druid. It's not that great, but it's not bad either, and it's frustrating to lose against, as Druid usually does. But the change to Concierge is fine. It still keeps the drink 0. I think this is fine. But you are definitely seeing a lot less Concierge Druid, and overall, that's a fine thing. Now let's talk about the buffs. Rycleaver went from 7 mana base weapon, 2 mana minion sandwich, to a new 5 mana base weapon and 4 mana minion sandwich. Excuse the dogs if you can hear them. My wife just came home. So the Rycleaver is cheaper. You can now get this out on turn 3 if you play the Druid spell that gives you 2 mana the next turn. But we're not seeing it. It's still not that good. I don't know why they made the median sandwich cheaper. They are more expensive. They could have made the sandwich 3 mana, and then maybe you could have done something like all you can eat the next turn. But it's just too expensive still, and no one's playing it, which is sad. I really hope that we find a place for this in the future. Ranger Gilly went from 6 mana to 5 mana. Still not seeing play. There is some Hunter going around, but it's still not strong or powerful, or at least very prevalent. So Hunter still has plenty of work that needs to be done. Now, Razzle Dazzler went from 7 mana to 6 mana. Now we are seeing this both in Shaman and Demon Hunter. Death Knight. I think that this card was always good. I think it was fine at 7. The buff down to 6 made it so that way people were more inclined to play it, and I think that's fine. You are seeing it. We'll see it in the deck we're playing today. It's a good card. And I think that is a fun card, right? It's you get a lot of good 5-cost minions too. You can get Leroy for sure, and there's some other ones that you can get Sandcastle. So there are things in there that you can get that are very, very strong. Good card. I think the buff here was good. It's actually been impactful. Natural talent. The buff has been good. It's used to be old, get a random Naga and a random spell, they cost 1 less. Now it's new, get a random Naga and a random spell, they cost 2 less. This card slots into the buttons Death Knight, which has been good. You don't always get a good card. In fact, my spell the other day that I got from this card was Announce Darkness, which is a card I was never going to play, but it gets you another spell, potentially from another spell school. And the Naga's fine. So, I mean, it's a spell that works in the concept of playing nature spells and other spells to reduce or to help Razzle Dazzler. So I think this card's fine. I think it's good. I don't think it's breaking the meta. I don't think there's any kind of weird Naga shaman going on here or anything, but it's a utility card. It works fine in a particular deck. Buttons went from 5 mana 5/5 to 4 mana 4/4. I think this was another one of those cards which was fine at a 5 mana 5/5. Is just making it a 4 mana 4/4 kind of encouraged people to look at it a little bit more. And it's a good card. You draw spells, and you can get you are now encouraged more to play the Shaman Death Knight type decks, and we're seeing those. We're seeing a lot of Death Knight Shaman rainbow kind of builds. So, and everyone loves buttons. I mean, how can you look at buttons and not just say you need to be in my deck? So I'm glad they made that change. It's feeling real good. Cruise Captain Lorna, old 7 mana, new 6 mana. It's a 6 mana 4/5. Battle Cry, summon 2 random locations. I think there's something here for this. I think you can play some kind of locations with the giants and whatnot. I'm not going to do it right now. Apparently no one else is doing it right now because this card, I believe, is still seen close to 0 play. It's fine if you generate it. but no one really is looking to play any kind of random location synergy type decks. So that's fine. Tsunami was interesting. They moved it from old 8 mana, summon 3/6 water elementals that freeze. They attack random enemies. New is 10 mana, summon 4/3/6 water elementals that freeze. They attack random enemies. So it's kind of one of those nerf buffs. I believe it's just so that way it occupies a different spot in the. It's a little stronger. You get it when you generate it for 5 mana or whatnot. You get a bit more of a powerful card. No one's playing this. I have not seen the new Tsunami once. It's not. The entire big spell package needs work, needs help, and this isn't it. I hope in the end, it is. I hope they figure out a way to make big spell mage something that we want to play. But right now, Tsunami, the change didn't do anything as far as I can see. And then we have Service Ace, which is the old 3 mana 3/3, and now it's a 2 mana 2/3. And Service Ace is after this minion gains attack, reduce the cost of the highest cost card in your hand by 1. Not seeing play. I don't know really what we want to do here. I understand that we probably want to put sunscreen on it and reduce Lanessa or whatever in our hands or whatever it might be, but it's just not there. It actually would go well with Sea Shanty if you're playing like a Sea Shanty and you play a spell. Not only it gets so it's getting doubly reduced, you get that Lanessa out there. There's a lot of potential synergies. It's too slow in this meta. There's better things you can do in Paladin. I really hope that this card finds a home. It's a fun card, but it really isn't. It's not doing nothing. Twilight Medium was old 6 mana 5/6 priest card. Now it's a new 5 mana 4/5 priest card. The card text reads Taunt Battlecry. Set the cost of the top card of your deck to 1. I don't see this card played. I don't see priest played outside of Zarimi and Overheal. This card apparently doesn't fit in there, so this card as well has not been impactful. Nightshade Tea, which was a another priest spell, which is old 2 mana, deal 3 damage to a minion, deal 2 damage to your hero, 3 drinks left. And new is 1 mana, deal 2 damage to a minion, deal 2 damage to your hero, 3 drinks left. Some people think the damage should have been reduced by this, but so instead read deal 2 damage to a minion, deal 1 damage to your hero. This card really hasn't seen play either as far as I've seen. This doesn't have a home yet. The aggro self-harm priest hasn't really taken off. Again, fun in theory crafting, but it hasn't really done much here. So maybe next time we have an balance patch, they'll change some other things that will bring these two cards into some kind of prevalence, but it's not here yet. And then I believe finally, Conniving Conman, this is the rogue 4 mana 4/4 minion. The battle cry used to read, replay the last card you've played from another class. Battle cry, replay the last card you've played from a non-rogue class. What this feels like, it is a buff to Paladin because you can play the rogue cards. However, no one's playing it. There's nothing there again because there are better things to do in Paladin right now. There's better things to do in Rogue right now. This doesn't really help Rogue as much, apparently. There's other things people want to be doing Rogue, like Sonya Grifta. So, and actually, besides Grifta, Sonya stuff, they also have the Playhouse Giant deck is making a comeback. I've seen quite a bit of that. We've also seen quite a bit of Insanity Warlock. So there's stuff to do, but Conniving Conman ain't it. So overall, the nerfs and buffs, couple of the nerfs, specifically around Death Knight, have been impactful. But for the most part, the buffs really didn't do all that much. And the nerfs really kind of took out some of the outliers of sentiment. Because the decks that were like Concierge Druid was being at a high play rate. And it was a good deck, but it wasn't so good that it was a problem. And Ziliak's Warrior wasn't that good either, but it was meta warping because people were still doing things in order to make sure that they didn't have to deal with it. That's why I started playing the Sir Finley package in Paladin. I'm still playing it, even though I don't need to anymore because I just like it. But it makes a lot of sense that they change things for these reasons. I think the meta's in a good spot. I'm not seeing a lot of the same. I'm starting to see, as I climb up the ladder, I'm starting to see the pool of decks people playing narrow. I'm seeing more of a focused group of decks, but it's still, still pretty wide open. And I don't feel like there's one deck that's dominating the meta. Play rate maybe Rogue, but or Warlock, but for the most part, it's not like they're just dominating and winning all the time. So I think we're in a pretty good spot here. So let's talk about the deck we're playing today. Today we are going to be playing Buttons Rainbow DK as it's listed on Donkey's site. The key cards in this, we have, obviously, like we talked about, Buttons is a 4-mana 4/4 Battlecry Tourist. Draw a spell of each pool. Very good reload. Very good to get you the cards you need to buff your Razzle Dazzler, which Razzle Dazzler is a 6-mana 4/4 Battlecry, summon a 5-cost minion. Repeat for each spell school. Well, it's fun card. And it's strong. I think it was strong at 7 mana, but now that we're seeing it more, it is a nice swing card. This deck also runs Eliza Goreblade, which is your legendary 4-mana 4/3 Death Rattle. For the rest of the game, your minions have +1 attack. Very, very strong. Stronger than I thought it would be. +1 attack doesn't seem like a lot, but when you can get tokens and when you can get +2/+1 on your hero power and things, it is a really good card. And the other good card is Horizon's Edge, which is a 4-mana 5 durability location. Deal 3 damage randomly split amongst all enemies. After a friendly minion dies, reopen this. This card feels bad to play against, but it's also not as strong as it feels because they have these turns where they attack, something dies, they hit the location, they attack, something dies, hit the location. But it's not something that can continually go face because once they're out of minions, then there's no way, in general, without some shenanigans, to kill their own things in order to keep reopening the location. So it'll do damage face, but it's not like they're going to get the entire barrage to your face because once they've cleared your board, that's it, right? So it's a strong card. It feels bad, but it also is fair. I would say it's slightly better than fair. So it's good. So without further ado, let's go ahead and play a game with this deck and see how it goes. All right, let's go ahead and queue up a game here. Or we've already queued up the game. Now we're going to talk about it. All right, so this deck has been a lot of fun to play. I'm hoping the volume is okay on the audio. It seemed to be when I did it in test recording. Maybe we need to go a little bit louder, but for now it'll be fine. So we have an Eliza Goreblade, a Horizon's Edge, a Reska, and a Razzle Dazzler. All good cards. I think we just keep Eliza here. Seems like the card we want to most have in our deck, probably, or one of them. And we end up with a Miracle Salesman, a Runes of Darkness, and a Rainbow Seamstress. We think about playing Rooms of Darkness, but we're not going to. Obviously, we're going to play in a Miracle Salesman. They play the 1/1 Murloc that summons another 1/1 Murloc, Tiny Fin. We play our Miracle Salesman. Now, I believe I had forgotten until halfway through to get my deck tracker online, so I don't have it. We drew a Buttons, by the way. Turn 2. Now they totem and they clear our Miracle Salesman. So for our turn 2, we just drew a Frost Strike, which we will gladly play. We'll kill the 1/1. And we have a choice between Harrowing Ox, Hardcore Cultist, and Quartzite Crusher. I love Quartzite Crusher, but I think we take Hardcore Cultist, expecting them to have a lot of maybe small minions, pop-up book, that kind of thing. And we took the Cultist. They totem again. Apparently unhappy with it. They get the Spell Power Totem. This feels like an easy Rainbow Seamstress. And we attack into that. We also drew a Horizon's Edge. So 30-30. All held. No one's taking damage. But we have a 3/3 with Haunt on board. 3/3 Lifesteal on board and Reborn. They played their Hagatha. We decide we're going to play Eliza Goreblade. And I think about clearing, but I go face. So now they're at 27 health. We're at 30. They have a 4/3. We have Eliza. We have a 3/3 with we have our Unborn Undead. Oh, they play Thrall's Gift and Hex my Eliza, which made me pretty sad at the time. I remember not being particularly thrilled with that. We just drew a Corpsicle. We also have a Threads of Despair in hand. I think on this turn we just decided to play Horizon's Edge. We're looking at Buttons, but I think Horizon's Edge is the play. So we play Horizon's Edge. We use the hero power, which might not have been the right play, but we do anyway. And then we run the 3/3 to face. So they're at 22 health. We're at 30 health. We did float a mana that turn. So they clear my 3/1 with their Magatho. We now have another 3/1 again. If you are watching live, we are remembering that we don't have deck tracker. So we are fixing that. So just bear with that for a second. So they played the minion that has mini and gives their hero Wind Fury. I do forget the name of it, but I can tell you in a second, I think. I just drew Mining Casualties. Nope, we're back to where we need to be. Now we just got to fix this. There we go. All right. So we play Mining Casualties. We play Runes of Darkness. Our choices are Foam Render, Might of Manethil, Frostmourne. We picked, I think, Foam Render. That felt pretty good. No, Might of Manethil because we wanted to freeze. Yeah, we picked Might of Manethil. We coin out Might of Manethil. We freeze the 4/4. The 4/4, by the way, is called the Sand Art Elemental. We attack, and we hold. So right now, they played a Sigil of Skydiving last turn, which I didn't mention while I was trying to figure out the issues. They played, so they have 14 health. They have a 4/4 Sand Art Elemental, 3/1/1 Pirates. We are at 29 health. We have a weapon in hand. That is, I believe, a 4/2. We have a Horizon's Edge with 4 durability left, and we have 2/1/1 Silverhand Recruits with Death Rattle Summon Ghouls. This is kind of the board that we were thinking about when we kept Hardcore Occultist. We're really kind of thinking about what we want to do here, which is good. Take our time, make sure we're doing the right thing. I believe we are going to play buttons here and draw some cards. I'm really thinking about this one here. I mean, it makes sense because we already have them down to 14 health. We're not so far off, and we're probably thinking how we're going to get to lethal as fast as possible. No, I'm sorry. It wasn't even me thinking. It was my opponent thinking. So they cleared my 2/1/1s. They jam session on the pirate, clearing the other 1/1s. They play Frosty Decor, and they swing face with a 4/4. So now we drew a natural talent. So I believe we go right into the natural talent, see what we get. And we have a Rehydrate for 0 mana, and we have a Keyboard Soloist, which is a 2 mana battle cry. If you have no minions, you get, I believe, 0/1 or 1/2 minions. So we hero powered. We played Threads of Despair. We healed our face. So we are at full health now. We use the Horizon's Edge. We Horizon Edge our ghoul into the one of the Frosty dudes, the Frosty Decor guys, and we Horizon's Edge again. The Threads of Despair start to go off. We clear the board. We play Keyboard Soloist. They're 1/2 amps that give +1 spell damage. So we swing with the weapon. We put them down to 13 health, 3 armor, and we just play out our Keyboard Soloist just for tempo. So they're at 16 health altogether. We're at 30. They play Doc Holiday. And then they play the mini Sand Art Elemental, giving them Wind Fury again. They swing into my minions. They swing to both keyboards, giving themselves a 1/1 and a 2/2 Frog. We are at... Oops, hold on. I am piling over a card here. I'm like, what is the name of this card? Sand Art Elemental. Okay. So they're at 14 health. They have the Staff of the Nine Frogs equipped with 7 durability left. They have a 1/1 giving them Wind Fury. They have Doc Holiday. They have a 1/1 Frog and a 2/2 Frog. Both of those have Taunt. We're at 30 health. We have a 5/1 weapon. We have 2 hits on the Horizon's Edge, which is open, and we have the Keyboard Soloist. We want to get through this as quickly as possible. I believe we start with buttons here. Yeah, we start with buttons here. Let's see what we can draw. I'm looking to try to find lethal. We're kind of looking for Molten Drinks, or Molten Magma, I think. Runes of Darkness, Corpsicle, and there's our Molten Magma. So we play Runes of Darkness. We are given the options of Frostmourne, Foam Render, or Quartzite Crusher. I believe we take Quartzite Crusher. We trade... No, we just play the Hardcore Cultist. My God, he's killing it! We Horizon's Edge. And then we run our 2/4 into Doc Holiday. We've completely cleared their board up. We hit the Horizon's Edge again, and we swing face. So they're now at 2 health. We're feeling pretty good. We have plenty of over-the-top damage. Sorry if I'm stumbling a little bit. This is the first time I've recorded and talked over gameplay in 2 weeks, and it is... previous weeks I have done multiple games to try to, get my cadence and practice and all that, and in this case, it's been a little while. So they dirty ratted out my my 2-2 Hellhound handler, and they destroyed one of my other minions, and they are heart blossoming the dirty rat that kills my minion. Then they go face. They summon another frog, but we don't really care. We just play Molten Magma. We could have killed them multiple ways here. We double Corpsicle, but I don't know if I have a quest for drinks or not, so we just figured we'd play that. And we have then completed our victory. You can follow me on Twitch, Twitter, TikTok, and YouTube at Tito Santana HS, and I highly encourage you to do. Shout outs this week. We had Jocelyn from The Angry Chicken and Chan Man V from Value Town on Bread and Butter Podcast. It was an awesome interview with Jocelyn and a trip down some memory nostalgia kind of pathways, how The Angry Chicken got started and the journey that they went on there. And I highly recommend taking a listen to. I've been doing Bread and Butter now for wow. We're on episode. We're in the mid 80s on our episodes, so we're getting there. And this is definitely one of my favorite episodes we've ever recorded. So I hope you give it a chance and take a listen if you haven't had a chance in a while. But anyway, guys and gals, I guess I'm done talking. Have a great day.